Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of King Joe's. Well, this time, this comic talk is some food for thought. A lot of my friends, people I talk to online on YouTube are starting to not buy new issues because Marvel and DC keep wanting to keep increasing the price. Well, right now you're dealing like here, $2.99 a cover price, right? Where you can buy some other magazines that have more pages, much more to read, bigger articles like Maxim, Playboy. It's like a comic book's almost as much as a Playboy book. It's like a $2 difference. Well, actually, in some of them, it's actually cheaper because some Marvel books are $4.99. I think last time I checked out a Playboy book, it was $7. A $2 difference. And it's sad because you go to the comic book stores and they don't give you no discount anymore like they used to. And they charge you full cover plus tax. Are you better off getting a subscription for it? Because at least in a subscription, you're getting a thing off, you get it delivered right to your house. My daughter's in the Girl Scouts. And on the Girl Scouts, they're actually selling four subscriptions to 4 DC titles. And I actually put myself down for all 4 of them. Young Justice, Superman Family, Justice League of America, and Green Lantern, the animated series. Since 2 of them I buy anyway at the comic book store. And I'm helping the Girl Scouts. But if I went and bought them at the comic book store, I would pay $36 cover price on tax on top of that. Through the Girl Scouts, I get the whole year subscription for $25. So I'm actually saving over $12 per title. So just on my 4 titles right there, I save that's $48. That's, hey, $50 is $50. And on top of that, I don't have to drive 10 miles to go to a comic book store to pick them up. And usually my mailman's pretty good. I usually don't get a lot of damaged books or magazines. If you look at my Maxims and stuff, there's no damage on the spine. I think what all comic book collectors should do and say, enough's enough with the friggin' prices. Because it really doesn't cost much, to make a book. Paper's cheap. It's basically recycled over and over again from newspaper and all that. If you can get a magazine subscription, right, that the cover price on a magazine is $5, and you can get a subscription for 12 years for $1 or $2, like I did. I got 4 years of Maxim, right? 4 years of Maxim. I ended up getting 4 years of Maxim magazine for $12. Now, they can sell that cheap. There is no reason why a comic book, which is, let's see, I'm just going to open this book up. Actual pages to read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 pages. That's all you get out of this comic book right here. It's 20 readable pages. The rest is ads that they pay to get put in these magazines. And ad-wise, here we go. 1, Midtown Comics. 1 ad. 2 ad, Converse sneakers. 3rd ad, another Converse sneakers. An ad for a new comic coming out from DC. So that's actually 1 page there. Here's 2 more pages. Another one for an ad for another DC comic coming out. Here's 2 more. So far we're up to 9. There's 10. So already 1/3 of the book is at, well, there you go. Boom, 2 more. And another 2 more. 14 pages of this book is just advertisements. You get 20 readable pages and 14 pages of advertisement. So almost, I'd say 38% of this book, 20 out of 34 pages, 24 of them are ads. 14 are ads. So you get 20 readable pages. So that's over 1/3. Almost closer to 40%. Now, You're paying $3. What are you paying? You shouldn't pay $3. Most of this book should be, as far as I'm concerned, is $2 because a third of it is ads. Now, when you buy a magazine, right? Yes, there's advertisement. There's quite a lot. But there's a hell of a lot more articles in here. Yeah, I understand that the inker's got to make money. The pencils, this guy writes the story. We want to know something? How much money is enough, people? You're paying $3 for a book that he used to sell these, and there's no reason why they should have tripled in price in 15 years. I'm sorry. That's just gouging. Especially when magazines haven't increased that much, and they still use the gloss paper. They're bigger, have more pages. Like here, okay, there's 34 pages in that book. We're going to start with this book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 49. And that's only pages. I didn't count front and back like I did with the comic book. So you get like 90 readable pages out of a magazine. You only get 34 out of a comic book. Magazine's bigger. Right now, remember, I have this in a bag and board too, so magazine's bigger. This should be a lot more than a comic book. But I pay less for a magazine than I do a comic book. People write articles. They have to hire photographers. It's got to be edited just like a comic book. Why is a comic book so much more than a magazine? Where a magazine's made out of almost the same paper. It's put together the same way. It's because they're going to keep raising the price of this until people ain't going to be willing to pay it anymore. And that's what it's getting to. And they're going to wonder why they're all going to sit on their asses and rotate and be like, what the hell happened? I wish every comic book collector in America would say, or the world would say, listen, we're not going to buy comic books for 1 month and send a message to the comic book companies. It's ridiculous for this crap to be this expensive. Like, they were saying how Stan Lee jacked up his price from $60 a sign to $100. Well, the reason why is some dumbasses are going to pay him that money. You get no just like these books. You go to the signatures, you get no certificate saying that that's authentic signatures. When you go and sell it, or your kids go to sell it, it ain't certified. Doesn't mean there's forgeries out there right now. I can sit there and get one of those dividers where I can actually sit there and look at Stan Lee's, get him to sign, and I can do my Stan Lee autograph on another comic book. It'll look exactly the same as Stan Lee's, but it's a forgery. Unless you have someone that says it's authentic, that's what a signature needs. That's why I think people are nuts to dish out that kind of money to pay these people for the books. Here, magazines, please, why don't we all sit down and say, enough's enough, DC, Marvel, the comic industry. People are losing their jobs. The unemployment rate's at an all-time high. The gap between poor and rich is ever growing further and further. It's the biggest it's ever been in the United States history. We had a revolution because of overtaxation, people, jacking the price up of stuff. That's one of the things I think reason why the government wants us, everybody else, to stay stupid. They don't give a crap about our education system. Because if we were smart, history repeats itself, people. You see it time and time again. The rich are going to keep pounding away at us, keep making us pay. The oil companies, the comic book companies. As long as they can afford putting gas in their car, they can care less if a little kid in the corner store, you had to give us free comic book day. Whoopee. Turn the clock back 20 years and give us comic books for $1 again and 20% off the cover like they used to do. All you comic book stores who are saying, oh, it's getting, times are tough, times are tough. Well, hey, if people couldn't afford buying stuff, more quantity would go out the door. It's just a bottom line interest there. I used to spend buku money. Anybody who knew me would know that. As you grow up, you have other responsibilities besides buying comic books. You have a family. You have to put food on the table. You have to pay your rent. Make sure you have heating, electricity, clothing for your family and your friends. They don't give a crap about that when it comes to pricing this. They'll just keep jacking the price higher and higher. Like they said, no, Marvel wants to raise it $1. So their average issue will be what? $5.99, $4.99. If they do that, I won't buy a single freaking new issue. I'll go back to buying old issues. I'll go on eBay and still buy them 3 for $1. The people who buy this eventually, the middle class kids, and then they'll decide that they don't want to collect anymore. They'll lose buku money because you know what? Everybody collects comic books. All the comic book dealers, when they get them, they bag and board them. They don't get destroyed anymore. If they don't sell on the shelves, go to wholesale warehouses. They show up in your good old dollar stores or your Five and Belows, or on the internet. What was the name of that company? SomethingRack.com. They had this thing where you can get Bronze and Silver Age books, 50 books for $15 through a company. But then you have to pay them shipping. Their shipping's ridiculous. But the whole point of the matter here is, when is it going to end? When's it going to stop? I love to organize a thing and say all of the people who collect comic books 1 month, no issues. Buy back issues. Don't buy the new issues. Send a message. And let me tell you something. They will hear it. They will hear it. And you'll see them rethink about stuff. I'm actually thinking about not even buying the DVDs that come out of these series because they're only making 12 episodes for a season. Please. 1 episode a month? Used to be you got 4 episodes a month. Easy. Back in the day when they were running a Monday through Friday, you get 26 episodes in a season. Now it's not even a third. Well, a little bit of a third. It's just crazy. If you do the math, and you figure it out, if they raise the price of a book $1, if you buy 10 issues, that's another $10. You're gonna have to scale back unless you make over 70 grand a year and you have a lot of disposable money. But I think the last time I heard, the average American only makes $40-some thousand a year. They don't even make 50 grand. Now, I love America. I can actually say there's a lot of things that are becoming wrong about it because the politicians have their hands in businesses and they don't care. They don't care about the American people. And I actually believe that a lot of these people in the comic book industry, they don't give a crap either. Once the older generation starts dying off, a lot of the newer generation, it's the truth though, when they said about the 80s was the me generation, that's who's in charge anymore. Because they only care about themselves. The only time about what if it bothers them. They can raise the price of a comic book because you know what, most of them who work for DC and Marvel, they're comic book collectors and enthusiasts themselves. They can afford buying their books. They can care less that a kid, say in Compton, or a kid in Philly, can't afford to buy it. No, we give them free comic book day. We send out so many free issues. Ooh, whoopee! You're killing the hobby. That's what you're doing. Only older people, and eventually you're going to disillusion them. I've seen a lot of people that I really enjoyed watching that said that they were not quit buying, scale back, quit buying. And that is sad when you get people who have a love of a book that you're doing this to. I just got back into it, and I was disheartened years ago because of the way the dealers took care of their clients. People who every month bought their books were solid, and they would take stuff, pull all the pullets, and sell them to other people. That's wrong. And it's wrong for what you're doing with these books and the magazines, because if Maxim and all them could sell a year's subscription for less than $2 an issue. You could pick up a comic book. You can still sell comic books for less than $1 or $2 an issue, and you don't have to friggin' gouge. Your pencilists, your artists don't have to live like rock stars either. When the average person's just getting by day to day. Food for thought, people. It is a food for thought. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, pressure anybody, but I like to hear your thoughts about this, because it is going to affect the long run of this hobby. Who's going to, affect it? It's bad enough that the books are rated T for teens and you can't share them with little kids, most of them. It's all scaled for adult. And for the greater part of the history of comic books, a comic book was for all ages. And then all of a sudden, mid-90s, late 90s, all of a sudden, early 2000s, boom, last decade or so, it's now not. Wrong. It should never have been that way. Well, this is just some food for thought for you people. And, you know, as always, I thank you for viewing and subscribing. Hopefully, you know, we'll catch another, you know, episode of mine, because I can actually show you the Girl Scout booklet here. Catalog. Right on the last page. You can see that. Superman Family Adventures subscription, $25 a year. 12 issues. Now that cover price is $2.99. $2.99 times 12 is $36. It's an $11 savings. Like I told you, do the math. I'm actually at the point where I like to think about going to the back and see how much I can get a subscription for most of my books and cut out the comic book dealers. I think they're the reason why everybody's getting disgusted with the hobby. Plus, the comic book company keeps jacking them up because the dealers are sitting on the books, and I feel they're the only ones who are really making the money. Very few comic collectors do, because most comic collectors don't want to sell their comic books. They want to keep them and read them. It's the dealers and the comic investors that want to buy and sell. So, thank you for viewing this episode.